Thank you so much for stopping by today. I know everyone's got busy schedules, and especially now since the weather's getting better, everyone wants to be outside. So thank you so much for taking the time for coming out today. Um, so yeah, we took a little bit of a break for the last 2 weeks, but we're back on. I'll let you guys know for next actually week and onwards, I'll be moving the sessions to Friday instead. Just instead, I have to move those down to Friday. So I think you can have the same Zoom link, but different day. If not, then I will send out a different Zoom link and then on those emails and make sure that everyone gets those. So they'll probably move to Friday now. So that will be something different. And then, as always, tell friends who might be interested. And also let me know about any new ideas. Last time we got a bunch of new ideas, which I've implemented for now. We have a few more sessions that now I can implement them for like many more sessions. So that was awesome, but keep them coming because the more the merrier. And if you have questions at the end, please do not hesitate to ask and let me know. Okay, so in our last session, we spoke about cutting and bulking, and I, basically said that you can gain muscle in a cut and a bulk. It doesn't really matter, but and with gaining muscle on the cut, you just have to make sure that you're not eating, too crazy in a deficit, such that you're just eating so little. If you do, you can risk losing muscle at the expense of your losing fat. So you got to make sure you have those two balanced in check. Also, you got to make sure that you're consistently going to the gym and you're creating a stimulus for muscle growth. And also, you don't want to diet, for too long. Likewise, if you're dieting for too long, you run the risk of basically hitting energy barriers, being really low in energy, and just, risking muscle loss. So you got to find that balance where, yes, you're eating in a deficit, but you're also making sure that you're not compromising muscle gain, you're not compromising, your health and even your energy. Because when you start getting down to really heavy diets and eating very low levels of calories, you're talking about getting sluggish, getting cold, irritable, just the whole 9 yards. So, and also change the hormonal levels for women, a significant decrease in estrogen; for men, a significant decrease in testosterone. I saw a study the other day where it showed they compared the testosterone levels, the serum testosterone levels, which means the blood levels of testosterone in natural bodybuilders before and after they competed in a bodybuilding competition. And if you know, in bodybuilding competitions, you have to diet to get down to really low levels of body fat when you're competing, because the judges need to see the muscles that you've worked so hard to get. But when they compared the testosterone levels of those bodybuilders a few months out, like before their competition to directly after, their testosterone was so low after their competition because they had to diet so hard to get to super low levels of body fat, that they were in the range of being candidates for testosterone replacement therapy or hormone replacement therapy. It was that bad. So if you do, or even and women's as well, if you diet for too long, your estrogen levels will just dip down right away. So you got to make sure that when you're dieting, you're being smart about it, but just know you can still gain muscle in an energy deficit. Also got to make sure to eat more protein than usual, usually 1 to 1.2 times body weight in pounds. So if you're 180 pounds, you need to be eating probably at least 180 grams of protein a day, which really isn't hard. So essentially you have to make sure that you're hitting a bit higher protein than usual. If maybe you were eating in maintenance or calorie surplus, it's not as specifically important that you need to eat high levels of protein. Of course, you need to have at least 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And I would recommend actually having 1 times 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight just regularly. But you have to make sure to still have your carbs and your fats as well, because carbs and fats actually have a protein sparing effect, meaning that carbs and fats will allow your body to absorb the protein you eat more readily. So that's very important to understand. You can't just cut out carbs and fats because you think they're bad. They're also important to have around, but just in moderation. And we talked about, if you bulk and if you think, oh, I'm going to bulk, gain muscle. Yeah, you'll gain muscle, but you'll gain tons of fat in addition to that muscle. In fact, the majority of that weight gain, let's say you gain 10 pounds in a bulk, probably 2 pounds, maybe 3 pounds, 4 pounds if you have amazing genetics, but usually 2 pounds of that 10 pounds is muscle, and the other 8 is water, fat, and glycogen. So you got to make sure that you know what's happened to your body if you're going to be doing this and being aware of that. And then people will have to cut again, and once you cut, you're going to end up losing that muscle, because if you bulk for a long time, you're going to be at higher levels of body fat. Higher levels of body fat mean you probably have to cut for longer, and the longer you cut, the more you run the risk of losing muscle or being in a energy deficit that's just too much. So even though your strength will go up when you bulk as well, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are gaining muscle. Usually when you gain more body fat, your range of motion is decreased. You have to push the weight up, a smaller distance. So it's kind of like, so yes, you're lifting more weights, but you're also lifting with a smaller range of motion due to your increased body fat. Also, the fat actually can act as springs to spring the weight off your chest, off your body to get the weight up. And also, the more weight you have, via Newton's third law in physics, more force you have to push that weight proportionally. So the more weight you have behind the more weight you have behind your force, the more you can push, evidently. So that's basically what that means there. And let's see. Yes, we talked about glycogen and stuff. Perfect. So great. Yeah, that was just the main gist of what we talked about last time. We went into a lot more detail in last session, which I believe I posted that on my YouTube. If not, I will go and I'll do that right now or pretty soon right after this. So yeah, so we talked about that last time, and we got a bunch of good questions, and we got a bunch of good scenarios to look at with that last session. So please check that out if you haven't already, or if it's not up, I'll post that really soon. So now session 11, we're going to talk about home workouts. I got a few requests about this. I've been a little bit busy lately, so I wanted to really address this in my session today because it's a really important information, especially now with Ontario. COVID restrictions getting really crazy over there. It's important to have these things in your back pocket. So what can you do if you don't have a gym or if you don't have access to a gym? What strength workouts can I incorporate? So preferably you can do a few things, right? So use your body weight. People forget that how good body weight training is. People like Bruce Lee back in the day would just do mainly strictly body weight training, and he looks amazing. Body weight training is I think the biggest indicator of strength. So many guys in the gym or people in the gym doing these weights, but they can't even do a pull-up or they can't lift their own weight. It really changes your physique on a aesthetic principle if you can really do a lot of body weight stuff. And men, women, whether you're into lifting a lot or not, if you can lift your body weight, that's going to have huge health benefits because you're in control of your weight and you're able to push that around, and you're able to be more mobile, possibly risk less knee pain, risk other injuries because you're able to maneuver your weight around and be strong, have a strong core as well, because if you can lift your body weight. So it's really, really important. Also, of course, we think about resistance training when we don't have a gym, but also, this is a great time to increase your cardiovascular stamina. The better cardiovascular stamina you'll have, the more muscle gain you'll actually get in the future, simply because you'll be more efficient. Your body will be efficient at kind of distributing blood throughout your body, and therefore allowing you to have better workouts in the future. And the more you work out and the more cardio you do, you become a better butter burner. If you know what that means, a better butter burner means that you become a better fat burner, because butter is just mainly close to fat. So that's the kind of slang word for saying the more cardio you do, the better your body will be at burning fat. So somebody who does more cardio than someone else, just sitting down, they'll be burning more calories than the person who doesn't do cardio, because their basal metabolic rate is increased substantially because they're doing so much cardio. So cardio, not only can it literally extend your life, but it's helps you burn. The more cardio you do, the more efficient you are burning fat, and you'll be stronger when you go to the gym and do lift weights as well. So everything they gain, nothing to lose.
Really help me by explaining why I'm not.
So yeah, so that so that's that. So that's a definitely a good one to consider. And also you can combine both. You can do like resistance training and cardiovascular training, like do like half and half, do like a bit of a circuit, get creative, right? Do a bunch of things. So that's really important. So some resistance homework. You do, of course, a pull-up bar. That's number one. Pull-up bar is probably one of the best exercises you can do for strength. It's a compound movement, meaning that it requires your lats, your arms, your biceps, your shoulders, mainly a lot of part of your back, your core, your upper part of your chest. It's literally including almost every body part, and it requires a great amount of upper body strength. And if you can do a pull-up, chances are you're already way above average, because most people can't do pull-ups with their own body weight. So please, it's the most efficient exercise you can do. I would say bang for your buck wise, I don't think anything honestly can beat the pull-up. And then efficiency wise, you don't really, all you need is a pull-up bar. They're really cheap and you have everything to gain from it. If the thing about it is that if you can't do it right away, just try to do as much as you can. If you can't go all the way down, just go on a little bit, just keep doing a little bit more and more progressive overload, and you'll be able to get there. But doing pull-ups, chin-ups is probably, I would say, one of the best exercises of all time, just because of how strong you need to be overall. Then push-up handles, you can see here in this guy on the right. What it does, it allows you to have a greater range of motion. You can go deeper with your push-ups, and greater range of motion means more muscle hypertrophy and more muscle gain in the future. And if you want it to progressive overload, you can put a backpack on your back and then put some books in there for some weights, and then do that push-ups as well if you want to progressive overload and challenge yourself every week. So that's just one. These are probably my two favorite resistance ones, such that these two guys are really going to get your upper body down pat. If you're looking for a good upper body workout, you don't have too much time at home, but you don't have access to a gym, these two guys will really, really, and also if you don't have push-up handles, you can do different variations of push-ups as well. You just go on YouTube, and you can see there's diamond push-ups, there's wide grip push-ups. Even if let's say you can't necessarily do a push-up, do knee push-ups where you're on your knees and then you do push-ups as well. So it's like, and then, progress to getting, doing full-on push-ups. So, doing push-ups are really important, and they're a really good hallmark for your health. So definitely try them out. And also, for your more experience with resistance exercises, handstand shoulder presses. So use your push-up handles. You get in a handstand position and you balance yourself on the wall, like vertically. It's very tough at first. You got to be an experienced lifter to do this, but even guys I know who are able to like shoulder press really heavy weight dumbbells in the gym, they find this tough because it is tough. You're inverted and you're having to shoulder press your body weight. There's just something to be said about body weight training and how hard it is. So definitely try this out if you want to, replace shoulder presses. And honestly, I think even better than shoulder presses, it's tougher. Do this handstand shoulder presses. And if you don't have push-up handles, use books or something that's slightly elevated to kind of like allow you to go deeper and greater range of motion, and then do those on your wall. You can really gain a lot of shoulder strength on that right away. Now, a lot of people at home have just maybe like 10-pound dumbbells or lightweight dumbbells, and you're probably wondering, okay, it's not that heavy, I can't do much with it, but you actually can. One of the great bodybuilders of all time, Frank Zane, said, the key is to not lift more weights. It's rather to make the weights you're lifting feel heavier than they are. Really, cool quote, because everybody nowadays just wants to keep lifting heavier weight, but, they end up injuring themselves. Guys like this back in the 70s who were bodybuilders, they focus more on the contraction. They didn't risk hurting themselves for the sake of, arbitrary numbers on a dumbbell. And these guys, trained, of course, they try to push themselves and add more weight, but they trained smart, and they knew that, hey, the key is to sometimes making a 20-pound dumbbell feel like a 100-pound dumbbell, and you honestly can. And one way you can is you can focus on contraction, slow movements of the weight, focusing on the muscle you're really working, and really, attend to what that muscle is doing and think about what the muscle you're trying to work with. If you're just going through the motions, you might as well just not do it, because you're not going to get anything out of it. You have to really think about what you're doing and go slow. Really feel the contractile tissue of your muscle getting smaller. Feel that contraction is really important. Zottman curls are a type of curls you do dumbbell. Go look them up online on YouTube. There's so many tutorials on it. Essentially, you do a regular curl and you come back down, invert your hands and come back down. This is a favorite of Bruce Lee. He would always do these. They get you really big forearms, and they're hard to do. So usually most people do them with like 15s or 20s anyways, or maybe even 10s. They're a pretty tough bicep workout, but they're really efficient because they hit your forearms and biceps, and you don't need heavy dumbbells. Supersets, you can do like high rep levels of biceps and triceps and do one after the other to really fatigue your muscles. Controlled tricep kickbacks, tricep kickbacks, if again, you can go online and see what a tricep kickback is, just as a video for it, but do them with like slow contraction and really focus on the muscle at hand. Tricep kickback should not be done with with high weights anyways, but high reps. So they should be done with, lower weight, but control it. Lateral raises too. Lateral raises should not be done with crazy heavy weights. I would have to say that, like, usually, most people, even I, like, 20 pounds, 25 pounds max. You want to really focus on the contraction. Lateral raises are probably the best single exercise you can do to grow your shoulders and get them large and wide and have that, that nice shoulder look. They're amazing, and you can do them with light dumbbells, and they really allow you to sculpt your muscles in your shoulder area. So 100% makes you
And I'm curious of keeping work for 15
it would
years.
definitely help those. So definitely look at lateral raises for that, really helping the shoulders there. And then backpack lunges and squats. So essentially strap on a backpack and do squats and lunges, essentially just, a way you feel, and then maybe go in your garden or outside and do some lunges, do some squats. You can do them across the backyard. Really important for lower body strength, and lunges are a really cool thing because they help work your glutes as well and your posterior chain, your lower back. So really do those. They're awesome. And just general squats with, a backpack on, you could really help your lower back, help your bone health, and really, it really allows a lot of different options when it comes to that. So use backpacks, put some books in it, for weights, just get kind of creative with it. But those are some basically those are some options for that in the future there. You want to get a bit creative with resistance exercises, as you can use a broom handle and a backpack. Put the backpack on the broom handle, kind of like, you put it on your back, and then you can use that for a bicep curl, kind of like it would be like a straight bar, and you can get creative like that. I've done that a few times when I needed to, and it's a really cool thing. You just put some books in the backpack, and then hook the backpack on the broom handle and do like straight bar curls with it. So it's a really cool thing you can do. Water jugs too come in handy. You can do lateral raises with them, bicep curls, tricep exercises, get some water jugs. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just got to get the job done, right? So those are really things you can do. Bands as well. You can get bands, online with different resistances. You could do infinite things with bands. You can do chest presses by putting them on your back. You just go online and look at so many things you can do with bands. It's amazing. Honestly, I would say if your home workout kit should really just, if you have these 3 things for your home workout kit, you're set. It's bands, push-up handles, and a pull-up bar, and then like a backpack with some arbitrary weights, books, whatever. If you have those things, you're great. You're going to have a great workout, and you're going to allow yourself to have the best resources possible. You don't really need much for it. So those are the best things. Now to cardiovascular, I feel like, with this channel, sometimes we don't talk about cardio as much, and I think, it's time to address it. And I'm going to go, because I've talked about cardio throughout our system. I want to really just spend a slide here, just getting into it. So hit your 10,000 steps, we're now in BC, at least the weather's amazing. Go outside, hit your 10,000 steps. The great thing about, walking is that it really doesn't spike your appetite. Sometimes people say, okay, let's say you're dieting and you do crazy hard cardio. It really spikes your appetite. You start eating more and that kind of thing. Walking doesn't really increase your appetite that much. It's really easy on your joints. So it essentially, it's not as hard on your joints as maybe other things. That being said, the more you actually run, the less, hurt on your joints, so if you don't want to get into running right away, start with some walking and then go from there. It's also very enjoyable. It's easy to, you don't get fatigued. Let's say you're able to walk every day and do resistance training. Whereas if you do a hard run, it's hard to do that and resistance training the same day. So very easy. You burn upwards of 400 to 600 calories when you hit your 10,000 steps. It's really good. Just walk for around 40-ish minutes a day. A 40-minute walk at the very start of the morning, shouldn't be too bad. You can split it up in 20-minute sessions, and, hitting your 10,000 steps is really important. Now, I don't recommend HIIT cardio unless you already have a great cardiovascular fitness. I was taking a kinesiology course, and we did a lot of research, or basically we're looking at the the research regarding HIIT cardio. And there really wasn't much of a significant difference with body fat loss compared to regular steady state cardio, moderate cardio to HIIT cardio. However, cardiovascular ability was really high in the HIIT cardio group. However, that being said, if you already don't have that great cardiovascular fitness, meaning that if you're not, regularly cardiovascular active, like if you're not taking part in sports all the time and that kind of thing, jumping right into HIIT cardio is probably not your best bet. And in fact, it might actually just be bad, because you're not going to be able to do what you need to do with it, and you're not going to be able to get the effects of HIIT cardio if you're not cardiovascularly fit already. I would recommend starting slow, going for your walks, doing some steady state moderate cardio. And then once you're experienced, once you're experienced in your cardiovascular training, then do HIIT cardio. Then it's an amazing thing for athletes, that kind of thing. But it's kind of a fad right now, but just don't necessarily get sucked into it. In fact, I think moderate cardio is actually way better for fat loss, which has been shown in literature. And it's, it's easier on your body, especially if you want to lift as well and go to the gym and lift weights. So it allows better recovery and that kind of thing. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, steady cardio. And at the end of the day, just do the form of cardio you like best. If you do like crazy heavy cardio, go do it. Because the biggest thing is, if you like it, there's more of a chance you're going to do it, right? The biggest thing is just getting you out there, getting you off the couch, doing something, getting your heart going. The more you like something, the more you do. You feel like football, go play football, go play basketball, just do something, get out there. That's the best form of cardio. If you like doing it, you're going to do it more. You do it more, it's going to help you, lose body fat, help your heart health, feel better, everything. Also, if you have a treadmill, if you can't go outside, with my Ontario friends out there, you can go on a treadmill and progressively increase incline on treadmill to progressive overload, like do walking on the incline of a treadmill and, put the incline up, a little bit every week. Same with running too. So have, change of speeds and inclines on that with treadmills. That's a cool thing to do. Like I said, combine resistance and cardio. You can do a circuit where you do, 15 bicep curls and go straight into like a quick jog and then come back, or, do them one after the other. Especially because you don't have maybe access to like a lot of the gym machines, that kind of thing. Just getting your heart pumping, getting your blood going, making it hard for yourself, pushing yourself. That's best. Just get creative with it. So yeah, so that was mainly this session. Is a little bit of a shorter one, but I just wanted to take some time to kind of just go through these general things. Of course, there's more things you can do. You can go online, but these are the main staples that I think work best. Also, if you have access to, certain parks as well. Parks have pull-up bars and like little outdoor gym things you can do and have fun out there. So that's also a really cool thing. Just getting outside, moving, especially now, those are just some home workouts you can do. Even if not COVID-wise, but even just if you're running out of time, can't go to the gym one day, there is things you can do at home, and you can do right there. And like we talked about with push-ups and pull-ups and all things like that, you have access to it. And just doing a little bit every day, something crazy, will help you in the long run. So next session will be next Friday, April 30th. Like I said, I'm moving them to Friday now. And I'll, hopefully I can keep the Zoom link. If I have to change the Zoom link because I'm changing it to a different day, I'll get that Zoom link out to everybody as soon as possible. So don't worry about that. You'll have access to that. And if you have any ideas of new further sessions that you'd like to hear about, or topics that you want to hear about, or that you want to learn more about, let me know. Because last time we had some people step up and say, hey, I want a session on this, I want a session on that. And that's amazing. I love that. So give me suggestions. And if you, so if you have any questions, this is your time. If you don't want to, talk over audio, you can text in the chat function as well. So any questions, guys? Feel free to use the chat function, audio, whatever is easier.
Renee, I have a question for you. I was going to type it out, but it's easier for me just to say it. In all of our goals, obviously we're all trying to get to a more leaner body. So when trying to carve out our diet for the day, what do you set aside for percent of your diet that should be protein versus carbs and fats?
Great question. Awesome question, actually. A lot of people think about this. They think, okay, like what should the ratio be with carbs, fats, proteins, whatever. It comes down to this. Protein and fiber are going to be your most satiating macronutrients, meaning that 100 grams of protein is going to make you feel more full than 100 grams of carbs. And likewise, 100 grams of protein is going to make you feel more full than, 100 grams of fat. But that being said, when it comes to specific breakdown about it, don't worry about the specific breakdown. that will make it too complicated. Worry about overall calories, because at the end of the day, it's calories in, calories out. The actual makeup of those calories, whether the energy is excised from a carbohydrate or it's excised from a triglyceride and fats, or it's excised from a protein, amino acids. Wherever this energy comes from, energy is energy. And whatever food you use to try to get that energy requirement will be fine. Now, that being said, I'm not saying you should cut out carbs and fats. If anything, still keep them in your diet, but don't keep them as high, because usually fats carry a lot more calories than other things. Just per gram of fat, you have like 9 calories per gram. And like I said, if you totally cut out fats and carbs, that protein is just not going to work for your body and you're still going to feel full. Carbs and fats have a protein sparing effect, meaning that, having high protein and fiber diet along with still your fats and your carbs will keep you more full than just protein alone, or like keto diet. Cause that's why sometimes on keto diet, actually, people are usually pretty satiated sometimes because fat and protein is pretty satiating. But when it comes to the breakdown of it, do what you like best, but if your goal is to, be satiated, and if you don't want to be the less you eat, ultimately, the less calories you eat, ultimately, the more body fat you will lose. I would personally recommend a diet higher in protein and fiber, yet still keep those carbs and fats in there. But if you're looking to keep yourself the most full, aim to have slightly higher levels of protein and fiber. Awesome.
One more question, Vinay. Is there a health risk of having such high protein in your diet? I'm talking about cardiovascular, other things that you may hear.
Yeah, no, really there isn't. The amount of protein you need to have to really cause health risks is really, it's insurmountable. And I saw Jillian Michaels one time said, oh yeah, protein, you can't have too much of it and stuff like that. And it was completely wrong. And the reason why, she was trying to push some other fad diet that she was probably paid to, to promote. Realistically, there is no main thing. Mainly with actually high carbohydrate content, though, that's when heart issues can arise, mainly with blood glucose levels. But if you're physically active, these things shouldn't be an issue. And even if you do have high protein, you're not as active, there really isn't that much health complications when it comes to that. But then again, you should have generally a balanced diet, but most of your macronutrients should probably be coming from proteins and fiber just for satiating purposes. But at the end of the day, just make sure your foods, because what makes health risks is high calories. If you're eating a high caloric diet, right? A high caloric diet means that you're going to be gaining more body fat. More body fat means you're going to increase your BMI, increase your waist circumference. When you increase those things and you increase your body fat, you're more at risk for hypertension, metabolic syndrome, other sort of thing, type 2 diabetes as well. So then this is when the health risk comes, right? So the start of the domino effect is high calories, not necessarily a certain macronutrient. So that's just a general thing for that. Perfect. Great. So that was this session. Thanks again, everybody, for coming out. I appreciate it. And if you have any questions, let me know, and I will see you guys next Friday. Have a good one.